The quiet 6 signs most people miss. What if your mind could be asking for attention without giving you an obvious warning? After 70, changes in memory, mood, sleep, or concentration can sometimes be brushed off as just getting older. But here's the part many people miss. Not every mental health warning sign is dramatic. Some are incredibly quiet, and because they seem small, they can easily go unnoticed for months. Today, we're going to look at 6 quiet signs your mind may need more attention, and the sign 5 is very important for you. And remember, having one of these signs does not automatically mean something is seriously wrong. The goal is awareness, not fear. Why quiet signs matter? Think about this. A person may still get dressed, prepare meals, answer the phone, and carry on with their normal routine, while something inside their emotional or mental life has quietly changed. That's why these signs can be tricky. They don't necessarily stop you from functioning. Instead, they may slowly change how you feel, think, sleep, communicate, or enjoy your day. And here's something important. Sometimes, the earliest clue isn't forgetfulness at all. It may be something much more unexpected. Let's start with the first sign. Sign number 1. You're losing interest in things you used to enjoy. One of the quietest changes can be surprisingly simple. You stop looking forward to things. Maybe you used to enjoy gardening, meeting friends, watching your favorite programs, cooking, walking, reading, or spending time with family. But gradually you start saying, I don't feel like going. Maybe another day. I'd rather stay home. Once in a while, that's completely normal. But when losing interest becomes a pattern, it's worth paying attention to, because your activities aren't just entertainment. They can provide connection, purpose, movement, and stimulation. And that leads to the second sign, one that can hide behind a completely different problem. Sign number 2, your sleep pattern has quietly changed. Here's a pattern interruption. Your sleep isn't just about feeling tired the next morning. Sleep and mental well-being are closely connected. Perhaps you're waking up much earlier than usual, or you're spending long periods awake during the night. Maybe you're sleeping far more than you used to. And sometimes you may not even recognize the change because you've gradually adapted to it. But here's the important question. Did your sleep pattern change before you noticed your mood or concentration changing? Occasional poor sleep happens to everyone, but persistent or significant changes deserve attention, especially if they begin affecting your daily life. And now we come to a sign many people mistakenly call being antisocial. Sign number 3, you're slowly pulling away from people. Maybe you don't dislike your friends. Maybe you're not angry with your family. You simply stop reaching out. You answer fewer calls, you decline invitations, you spend more time alone, and you tell yourself, I just prefer peace and quiet now. Sometimes that's true, but there's an important difference between choosing solitude and feeling disconnected from everyone. If you want connection but repeatedly find yourself withdrawing, that change deserves attention. Because humans don't stop needing meaningful connection simply because they get older. And here's where things become even more interesting. Sometimes your mind doesn't show you a problem through sadness. It shows you through irritability. Sign number 4, small things suddenly feel much bigger. Have you noticed yourself becoming unusually irritated by things that once wouldn't have bothered you? A noisy room, a delayed phone call, a small disagreement, someone asking the same question twice. You may think, I'm just getting impatient. But a noticeable change in emotional reactions can sometimes be worth exploring. Stress, poor sleep, loneliness, medications, physical health issues, and emotional changes can all influence mood. So don't immediately blame yourself. Instead, become curious. When did this change begin? And what else changed around the same time? Because your mood may be giving you information about what your mind and body need. But the 5th sign can be even harder to recognize. Sign number 5. Everyday decisions start feeling surprisingly difficult. Here's something people rarely talk about. You may still have a good memory, but suddenly, simple decisions feel exhausting. What should I eat? Should I call someone? What should I do today? Which appointment comes first? Small choices begin taking more mental energy than they used to. That doesn't automatically indicate a serious problem. Everyone experiences mental fatigue. But if decision-making becomes noticeably harder or starts interfering with everyday life, it's worth discussing with a healthcare professional. And there's one more quiet sign. In fact, this final one can hide in plain sight because people often interpret it as laziness. Sign number 6, you stop taking care of the things that used to matter. Maybe your home becomes less organized. You stop preparing meals you normally enjoy. You put off personal care. You stop keeping up with hobbies. Appointments become easier to forget. Or you simply don't have the motivation to maintain routines that once felt automatic. Again, one messy day doesn't mean anything is wrong. Life happens, but a persistent change from your normal behavior deserves attention. And here's the key. You know yourself better than anyone. Your normal is your baseline. So if something feels noticeably different, don't automatically dismiss it as aging. The most important question, is this new for me? Here's a simple question you can ask yourself. Is this actually new for me? That's powerful because aging isn't a diagnosis. Getting older can bring normal changes. But a sudden or significant change in mood, sleep, motivation, social behavior, thinking, or daily functioning deserves a closer look. You don't need to diagnose yourself. You don't need to panic. You simply need to notice the change. And that brings us to something incredibly important. What should you actually do if you recognize yourself in these signs? Don't self-diagnose. First, don't immediately jump to the worst conclusion. These signs can have many possible explanations. Stress, grief, loneliness, poor sleep, changes in routine, medication effects, physical health problems, or emotional difficulties. And sometimes more than one factor can be involved. That's why the smartest response isn't, something must be seriously wrong with me. It's, something has changed. Let's understand why. That small shift in thinking can replace fear with curiosity. And curiosity is exactly what you need next. Start with your baseline. Take a moment and compare today with your usual self. Ask, have I become less interested in things? Has my sleep changed? Am I avoiding people more? Have I become unusually irritable? Are simple decisions harder? Have my normal routines started slipping? You don't need a complicated test. You can even write down what you've noticed. When did it begin? How often does it happen? Is it getting better, worse, or staying the same? That information can be surprisingly useful when speaking with a healthcare professional. But there's another step many seniors overlook. Tell someone you trust. Sometimes the person experiencing the change is the last person to notice it. A family member, friend, spouse, or caregiver may notice subtle changes earlier. So consider saying, I've noticed that I've been different lately. Have you noticed anything? This isn't an admission that something is wrong. It's simply opening the door to another perspective. And don't underestimate the power of that conversation. One honest conversation can help you recognize a pattern you hadn't seen before. But there's something else you can do every day that supports overall mental wellness. Protect your daily routine. Your brain doesn't live separately from the rest of your body. Your daily routine matters. Try to maintain regular sleep and wake times. Stay physically active in ways appropriate for your abilities. Eat regular balanced meals. Spend time with people who make you feel connected. Keep your mind engaged with activities you genuinely enjoy. And give yourself something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be complicated. A walk, a phone call, a hobby, a cup of tea with someone you enjoy, a trip to the garden. Sometimes mental wellness is built through small actions repeated consistently. The surprising power of purpose. Here's a question worth asking. What gives me a reason to get up excited for tomorrow? Purpose doesn't have to mean having a job. For someone over 70, purpose might mean helping grandchildren, caring for a garden, volunteering, creating something, learning something new, supporting a friend, or simply staying connected to family. Your brain benefits from having reasons to engage with life. So if your days have gradually become repetitive and empty, don't assume that's simply what aging looks like. You may need more connection, stimulation, and purpose. And there's one mistake you should avoid. Don't wait until it becomes severe. Many people think, I'll deal with it if it gets really bad. But why wait? If you notice a persistent change, talking to a healthcare professional early can help you explore possible causes. You don't need to walk into an appointment saying, I think I have a serious mental health problem. You can simply say, I've noticed a change in my mood, sleep, motivation, or daily routine, and I'd like to understand what's causing it. That's enough. You are asking a question, not giving yourself a diagnosis. And sometimes that conversation can uncover something surprisingly manageable. When you should take changes more seriously, There are situations where you shouldn't simply watch and wait. If changes in thinking, mood, behavior, or daily functioning are significant, rapidly worsening, or interfering with everyday life, seek professional medical advice. And if someone suddenly becomes confused, has severe difficulty speaking, develops sudden weakness, or experiences another sudden neurological change that requires urgent medical attention. The important lesson is simple. Don't panic over small changes, but don't automatically dismiss major changes either. Knowing the difference is powerful. Your mind can still grow. Now let's move from warning signs to something much more hopeful. Getting older does not mean you have to stop learning. Your mind can still be engaged by new experiences. Learn a new skill. Try a new recipe. Read something you've never explored. Talk to someone from a different generation. Practice a hobby. Take a different walking route. Even small amounts of novelty can make everyday life feel more stimulating. You are not too old to be curious, and that curiosity may be one of the most valuable habits you can protect. The 6 signs. One more time. Let's quickly bring everything together. Number 1, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed. Number 2, a persistent change in your sleep pattern. Number 3, slowly withdrawing from people. Number 4, becoming unusually irritated by small things. Number 5, everyday decisions becoming surprisingly difficult. Number 6, losing interest in normal routines and self-care. Remember, these signs don't automatically mean you have a mental health condition. They're signals to pay attention to, especially when they're new, persistent, worsening, or interfering with daily life. And there's one final message I want you to remember. Don't confuse aging with giving up. Growing older is not the same thing as giving up on yourself. You can still make new friends. You can still learn. You can still laugh. You can still build routines. You can still discover new interests. And you can still ask for help when something doesn't feel right. There is no weakness in saying, I want to feel better, and I need some help figuring out why I don't. That may actually be one of the strongest decisions you can make. Final retention and hopeful ending. So tonight or tomorrow morning, ask yourself one simple question. What has changed in me lately? Not, what's wrong with me? Just, what's changed? Maybe your sleep is different. Maybe you've stopped enjoying something. Maybe you've become more isolated. Maybe your motivation has quietly disappeared. Don't ignore those signals, but don't fear them either. Notice them, write them down, talk about them, and when appropriate, speak with a healthcare professional. Because your mental well-being deserves attention at 70, 75, 80, 90, and every age after that. And if you found yourself recognizing one of these signs, remember, noticing the change isn't a reason to lose hope. It may be the first step toward understanding what you need next. If this video helped you, share it with someone over 70 who might quietly be experiencing these changes. Sometimes the signs are quiet, but the solution can begin with simply paying attention.